Hey guys, it has been ages since I've done a video. This one has been in the works for a while. I'm going to be going through this Daniel Smith tester sheet with purples and blues and greens, really beautiful colors. I'm super excited because blues are my favorite and I love having them in my palette. So yeah, super excited to go through this with you guys. So our first color we're going to swatch here is Imperial Purple. I really like the hue. It's, I don't know, rich, kind of has a nice deep color. I will note it does not have a star, so if you haven't watched my other video when we swatched reds and yellows and oranges, I put these stars. I have my own sheet, so I'm swatching both the dot sheet from Daniel Smith and my own sheet that I wanted to kind of do a gradation from dark to light. Ultramarine violet's in there too, so it has a star. So anything that has a single star means that it is a single pigment color, so that's nice for if you're not wanting muddy colors. So I tend to try to stick with single pigment colors. So yeah, stars are what you want. This Carbazole violet was really beautiful, really like that. Cobalt blue violet, also really pretty. In general, so many of these were really beautiful. Anywhere where I have 2 stars, which will be coming up in a little bit here, those are Primatech colors, so they're made from natural, like, part rocks broken up, much like original watercolors were, and so yeah, they're a little more pricey, but they're also like a natural, and so yeah, so that's what the 2 stars mean there. Shadow violet really is kind of more of a gray. This Kyanite Genuine, kind of a beautiful bluish. I do find that generally the Primatech colors, they don't like put as much color on the paper. I think Kyanite Genuine is probably one of the rarer ones in that it looks like it gets a lot of color out, but often I feel like I'm having to scrub a little more to get the colors out. They're not super vibrant compared to some of the others. Quinacridone, definitely a very vibrant color. I've enjoyed. I use it for mixing purples typically. I usually use Quinacridone Rose though. Amethyst Genuine, this is another Primatech color. So you can see, like, it just stays light even at its darkest on the left hand side. It doesn't get that intense color that some of the others do. This is Wisteria, really pretty color. I mean, and it's probably never going to make my palette, but if you were someone who do a lot of floral paintings, things like that, it's a very pretty color, much like I'm trying to remember whether lavender, I don't think lavender, oh yeah, lavender makes it in here as well. Moonglow, another one that's kind of more of almost like a gray. I really like the swatch, the Daniel Smith swatches. They do really big swatches, and so you can see like a lot of rich color in it, but it's quite pretty. For me, I mean, many of these colors wouldn't make my palette just because they're very subtle. I would probably get these by mixing colors. I'm just not looking so much for that many different varieties of subtle gray, purplish grays and things like that, but they're beautiful colors to enjoy for this kind of thing. And this last one here we're going to do is Indigo. I love Indigo. It has a super rich color, really beautiful. I mean, you can see it's just like, it's like a ink almost, totally covers up the writing. Yeah, big fan of Indigo. I'm not actually sure even whether I have it in any of my palettes currently, but I've wanted to get it. Alright, so I'm starting another sheet here. You can see a lot of single pigment colors. Phthalo Blue Turquoise, really vibrant, really strong. Typically the phthalo colors, I do find they bloom a lot, and I vaguely remember looking up the science behind that, but I don't remember why. But they do, you know, they're very unforgiving when it comes to putting more water into an existing wash. But there's some beauty to that too. So you should just know they're very vibrant. They will bloom typically. Sodalite Genuine that I just swatched here. It's another Primatech color. Ultramarine Blue, use it all the time. I mean, this is like, if I had one color, I'd probably pick Ultramarine Blue, and then And then if I got one more color, it would be burnt sienna, and now you can do grays and reds and blues, and then a third one would be probably yellow ochre. Like those three colors together, I could just paint with those three. Maybe Hansa yellow, medium or deep or something. Anyway, I love it. Cobalt blue, I also really love. I can't particularly say, like, to me, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, almost interchangeable. When you look at them here on the swatch, I'd say cobalt blue maybe has a little more blue. Ultramarine has a slight, like, reddish, maybe a little warmer than cobalt, but really pretty much interchangeable. They're both just really nice, really versatile colors. Verdure blue is a mix, so it's not a single pigment color. Phthalo blue, this one I use for a lot of mixing greens and things like that. Very nice. Again, similar to it's a much richer phthalo blue than the phthalo blue turquoise, but again, subject to a lot of blooms if you get water, quite a bit of water in it. Indian Throne blue is really beautiful. This is one that when I was doing a lot of research on colors, it came up. It has like a really, similar to indigo, just like a really strong blue, and I really like it. It's a single pigment color too. Lapis lazuli genuine, theoretically, ultramarine blue, original ultramarine blue comes from lapis lazuli. So, I mean, this is lapis lazuli in its raw form, which makes me realize like how, I mean, in the old paintings that were using like genuine ultramarine as in crushed lapis lazuli rocks, that may have been what the blue looks like. We get so much of a stronger blue out of these colors nowadays with the synthetic colors. French ultramarine, very similar to ultramarine. I don't know, maybe a little warmer, negligibly. Phthalo blue green shade, again very similar to the red shade. I'm trying to remember which one I typically use. I believe I have green shade, but sometimes I remember at least one of these. My wife was heading into the city. This is back when we lived in Three Hills, and I didn't have a lot of access to paints, and so I sent her like a shopping list of all these colors, and of course some of them weren't available. And so then, trying to kind of, that's close enough, and this one's not. So I vaguely remember maybe she got me a red shade rather than a green shade. Lavender, not as, it's nice, it's very light. I don't love it maybe as much as the wisteria. And this Prussian blue, one of my favorite blues. It's just got such a cool but deep, much like, I feel I would put it in the same category as Indian Throne blue, which is a really deep and warm, and this is like a really deep and cool. And I still remember painting of a rickshaw going through trees on a rainy day, and I used mostly Prussian, and it was just really beautiful. Mayan blue genuine, this is another Primatech color, and my dream someday is to make a watercolor palette with just these Mayan colors, because there's a yellow, there's a red, there's an orange. I just have a little palette of all Mayan colors. They are genuine, so they're Primatech, so they're expensive, and because they're made of rocks and earth, they're just, I don't know what they would be like mixing. I don't think they would result in some of the lovely colors that you have in other places. I do use cerulean blue, chromium. I use that a lot for light blues, kind of like ocean, cobalt teal blue. I'm trying to remember if I use this, if I have it. I think I mostly use cobalt turquoise, which is further on down the list. But it's a lovely color. I mean, so many of these are kind of very like coastal, aquatic, so super pretty. Phthalo turquoise, another phthalo color, another very strong, vibrant, really beautiful color. This is one that I forget her name. There's a watercolorist who has gone on a lot of She's done like sailing and things, and I remember following, like, she went on a trip to Antarctica, like on a yacht, and painted, and she just has beautiful, beautiful Anna Katiana, something like that, I think. Beautiful seascape paintings, and yeah, she uses a number of these colors. Cobalt turquoise, very beautiful. Amazonite genuine, another Primatech color. Nice color. I just love hitting this part of the palette, this part of the colors, because they're just so, I don't know, so coastal. I think I love the ocean, so I love all these colors. You can't have them all, but they're all so pretty. Cerulean blue, I could not tell you what the difference is between cerulean blue and cerulean blue chromium. I think I remember hearing something like chromium has a little more, almost like a metallic-y, grayish color. I don't know. Chromium was recommended to me in like when I was first looking into palettes and everything, so that's what I went with. Manganese blue hue, probably not one that I would use. It's nice, but there's others out there. Fuchsia genuine, this is another Primatech one. You can see, like, even, it's hard work getting the color out, and then even when you get it out, it's still very light. It's almost as light as other colors are on the very watery side. So not a very strong color. Beautiful, but yeah, maybe less easy to use in certain places. Ultramarine turquoise, this is a mix. Really beautiful color though. This is one that, like, yeah, I would almost hang on to have as a premix color. It's just really lovely. Turquoise genuine, this is another Primatech one. So yeah, made from actual earth materials. And then blue apatite, I guess that's how you say it, genuine. Also Primatech. You can tell too on the sheet, there's a little P there with it. This is quite nice, kind of a gray color, yeah. Lunar blue is another one it's interesting. I mean, it says lunar, but it's really kind of more of a gray. Yeah, there's so many grays. I'm not sure what a person would do with all these subtle grays, and why someone wouldn't just mix them with, if you want a purplish gray, why wouldn't you just take a gray and mix purple in, or a bluish gray, and all these grays, you can mix them to get that without having to have all their own colors. But I mean, it's pretty to swatch them. Jadeite genuine, quite beautiful. Actually, a stronger color, I feel like, for a Primatech natural color. Diopside genuine, also pretty strong. I'm curious the green colors, where those come from naturally, whether that's and to have such strong colors. I understand the earthier ones, the browns and reds, like often they're ochres, that's the color of the rock. Lapis lazuli, color of the rock. So green, I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of green rocks coming out with that strong of a color. Prussian green, very beautiful. It is a mix, but yeah, very beautiful color. Cobalt green pale. Can't say I'm a fan. Probably wouldn't pick it. I just can't imagine this mixing well with many things. It seems like a pointless color to me. And then spring green, very bright. In general, I typically don't have greens. I guess I have the sap green, which I do like as a premixed green, but it's like quite warm. Whereas this is quite cool. I would mix it really. It's very rare that I would use it in its raw form. Cascade green, pretty beautiful. Nice and dark. I feel like these dark greens are where I would use greens more, because I just can't imagine getting that kind of a dark, moody green out of the way that I mix. I could do brighter, yellower, browner greens, but not that. Viridian, have used Viridian before. Quite nice. I'm trying to remember what I used it for as a stand-in for. Another phthalo green, blue shade, single pigment color. Pretty beautiful. I'd be interested to compare all these phthalos. I mean, I guess you can see them on the swatch list. The green is like much greener than, say, red shade and green shade of phthalo blue. I guess it's phthalo green. It's not phthalo blue. Terra Verte, which I assume means green earth. Kind of yeah. It seems like the color that it gives off, I would have expected it from a Primatech genuine color, kind of a earthy, very natural color. Cobalt green. I am curious, like, I don't know enough. I should do more research about like what makes a cobalt green. Cobalt green, cobalt blue. I mean, cobalt, occurs naturally. Again, like ultramarine. I assume initial, like original cobalt blue came from cobalt, raw cobalt rocks crushed up, which are part of the, like, are used nowadays a lot for EV batteries and things like that. I was just listening to a book about the mining process in the Democratic Republic of Congo and some of the terrible things that happen there in the mining of cobalt. I assume most of these are synthetic, if they're not original, they're synthetic. So phthalo green yellow, I'm not sure when in the world I would ever use that, but it's quite beautiful. I mean, especially on the dot sheet, it's a pretty green. Some of these, as I don't know, they have a lot of personality. I just don't know that I would use them. Sap green, I love it. Warm, you can use it pretty much straight out of the tube, and it just feels like nice foliage. And then I add yellow in it to kind of go more yellow, and blues to go more dark, and I just feel like I can throw colors into it. It is a mix, it's already a mix, so it can get muddy quickly. But I don't really mind. So I throw other colors in to kind of take it lighter, darker, yellower, whatever. Rare green earth, again, feels like kind of a natural color, but it's not. It is a single pigment color, but not a Primatech one. Pyroline green, very dark. I really should do more research as to these various kind of prefix. I don't know if they count as prefixes or like the initial word, like pyroline. I don't know if that's related to pyrrole. I know you have pyrrole scarlet. These kind of color families, and like phthalo, I don't know enough about what that means and what all the phthalo colors have in common. Permanent green feels like a phthalo green, and I can't say that I love the color. It reminds me a little bit of the railing at my boarding school in Murray here that has closed down, like quite vibrant green. Hooker's green, no idea where that color comes from. It's actually quite a nice green to say. Not super warm, but a nice green. Serpentine genuine. This is one that I remember seeing. It's kind of has this green gold, and it's quite beautiful. I feel like this is like if you were gonna have like snake skin, this is the mythological snake skin color. I don't know, just kind of this green gold. I feel like if there was a book cover with a snake on it, I would want it in that green. Green Apatite genuine, another Primatech color. Yeah. Next one, Deep Sap Green. Never used it. Yeah, I mean, I like sap green, but this is very dark, probably darker than I would want. And then our last color here is Undersea Green, which I've seen other artists use, but never used it in a palette myself. Nice green though. So that's basically the sheet, you guys. I was really looking forward to this one because it has so many colors that I like. And I would say, if you haven't seen my red and yellows one, my video, go out and check it out. I'd say between that and this, that's basically the colors that I use all the time. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't promise when I'm doing another video again. It's been a long time, and we're just heading into a break right now. So I've got summer where I'm going to be trying to do a little bit of painting, possibly some writing. I'm not sure whether that'll be in the form of videos, but anyway, thanks for watching and looking forward to seeing you in the next video, whenever that is.